Who is lying about the inflation rate? Conservatives keep telling me that the inflation rate is insanely high and out of control. Liberals tell me the rate is below 3 and below the historical average. Who is right? Are the two groups using different methodologies? Which methodology is considered to be the best economic indicator of the true inflation rate? The cardinal difference is time frame. When you see 3 inflation, it means the 12 months ending in June had a rate of 3. Last month it was 4. Last calendar year it was over 9. It's showing that inflation is trending downward. Not that current prices have lowered. It's not a snapshot of how much buying power you have, but more of a directional stat. Also, when looking at changes in costs for consumers, it's generally an average. They may say things are 4 more expensive, but food and housing may be at 10. And things you may not notice as much lower and balancing down that average. The relevant question is over what period. Liberals who say the inflation rate is 3 right now aren't exactly lying. They're just leaving out the fact that it peaked around 9 last year and that doesn't just go away. Conservatives who say the inflation rate is extremely high aren't exactly lying either. They're just averaging it over a 3-year time period and ignoring the fact that it has currently returned to normal levels. Simply look at the price of almost anything and then compare to a few years ago and you will have your answer. It's like gas prices. When they're high and your guy is in charge, you blame OPEC. When they're high and the guy is in charge, you blame POTUS. Rinse and repeat for inflation. Employment numbers, discretionary spending, tax breaks, etc. I'm at odds here. This isn't a conspiracy. This is a political post. But it's a genuine question. That actually reads like the OP wants to know. And the first answer is a reasonable and well-spoke answer. It makes me happy. What does your pocketbook say? Everything is more than 3 more expensive today. Anyone with a brain can tell that shit costs way more than it did 5 years ago. People's standard of living is much worse than 5 years ago. When you shop, do the prices go up pretty much monthly? Welcome to inflation. I'm a butcher in California at a major grocery chain. I had to go in early to raise all my chicken prices by 50 cents to $1 a pound today. It hasn't stopped. Depends. Groceries are much more expensive, but some things are coming down, like eggs. I think I paid $6.99 for a bag of Doritos last week. The people who say it's not that bad are the ones lying. Go to shop and gas station, see for yourself. I see very high inflation. I mean, go to the grocery store. Remember what you used to pay compared to what you're paying now. Do the same with gas today and what it was a few years ago. Same with your utilities. It's definitely high as fuck. Is it slowing down? Sure. Does that make the current prices any better? Not really, considering just 3 to 5 years ago how much cheaper everything was. When Trump left office, I could buy lunch at my work cafeteria for $9 or $10. Today it is 13 to 14. For me, inflation under Biden is closer to 40. I also saw plywood at Home Depot for $80 per sheet, the high quality stuff. And I remember it closer to 50 or 60 a few years back. It all depends on your time frame and what products you are looking at. I would advise you to look back a few years and see your month-to-month spending on groceries or eating out. Probably the biggest expense excluding rent or mortgage most people care about. If you buy things, what do your eyes tell you? Brew, how much do eggs cost? How much is gas? Milk. Water bills. Cost of a new car. Cell phones. Just like look at the world around you and tell me. Dude. The Dollar Tree is now the $1.25 tree. When I went to school that would equal 25 inflation. Just saying. Inflation should be around 2. Anything more and you are hurting people. Anything less and you are hurting the economy. Go to the grocery store and compare prices now to 2020. Look at home prices, car prices, gas prices. Then look at what you're making now compared to 2020. Based on those numbers, inflation is between 20-30. The bread I bought last year was $1 and now it's $1.89. That's an 89 increase in a year. This shit is insane. Anyone telling you that there is little to no inflation currently is full of shit. Do you buy anything? It's the clown world distraction process. The US dollar has lost 15 its value since 2020. This means that today's prices are 1.18 times as high as average prices since 2020. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics Consumer Price Index, a dollar today only buys 84.825 of what it could buy back then. Inflation is down compared to the last 2 years when it was out of control. Just check your supermarket and the price at the pump, they will tell you the right answer. Plus they could manipulate these numbers by taking into account a town in the middle of nowhere. Winn-Dixie America that might not have as bad an inflation rate and a low cost of living that may not even compare to a city or where you actually live. The TV could tell you anything they want him to tell you. All I know is prices at the grocery store are ridiculously high. Look in front of you. Are the things you buy on a daily basis more or less affordable? That's how you know who is lying. Inflation doesn't include housing costs. And because of this, any discussion about inflation is a farce by design. Apparently Shadow Stats is a good site with some interesting real-world data. Well, both are correct. Technically the inflation rate is at 3 given the last YoY CPI. However, that's basically doesn't mean anything because it's a basket of things designed to make the inflation rate look as low as possible. Real inflation, as in prices of things that actually affect the majority of people in a day-to-day basis, is stupid high. Probably in the 5080 and many multiples in some things. 3 also doesn't factor in the cumulative effect. If inflation peaks 50 and tails down to 3, that doesn't mean prices have come down. It just means the rate of inflation has slowed. I'd take a step back and look at what groups are profiting the most and who is defending them. Corporations are having record-setting profits. What political party wants to remove regulations, agencies, and rules that may prevent corporations from doing anything they want? It's so obvious that I don't even have to mention any political party and we all know who they are. They get to pick the commodities that are included. Bidenomics does not include food, living, or energy costs. Just a few examples, albeit are small ones. Canned mushrooms were $0.49, now they are $1.09. Cranberry 100 juice was $2.29, now is $3.59. Where they are getting this 2 or 3 BS is unknown. Maybe the Ministry of Propaganda. I used to pay about $170 to $200 for 2 weeks worth of groceries, now I pay about $290 for a week and a half. FJB. My investments had a really strong last quarter.